Before LeBron James and Kobe Bryant, before Michael Jordan, one man was the undisputed greatest basketball player of all time. His legendary skyhook is etched into NBA history, as were his stylish goggles. But just as impressive as his on-court statistics is his legacy of activism and social justice, something he sacrificed significant milestones for. He may be one of the most radical basketballers to ever play the game for his style, personality, and politics. This is the story of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was actually born Ferdinand Louis Alcindor Jr. and grew up in Harlem, New York, where his abnormal height was apparent from a young age. It made him something of an outcast at school, but he found refuge in basketball, where it was valued. He was so tall that by the 8th grade he towered over 6.5 feet, taller than most adults, and in his early teens, Alcindor could already slam dunk. Playing in his high school team was child's play. In 1961, he began playing for the Power Memorial Academy, where he led his school to 3 back-to-back state championships and broke almost every record in the process, having recorded over 2,000 points by the time he finished playing. Here, he picked up the nickname Tower of Power. And despite being by far the best player the Academy had ever seen, Alcindor's time on the team left him feeling even more excluded. This was during the 1960s, during the height of the Civil Rights Movement, when many schools were still segregated. Alcindor didn't escape the racism. Head coach Jack Donahue once called him a racial slur, leaving him feeling shocked and conflicted about how his appreciation during sports didn't translate to him as a person. After being outraged by the shooting and killing of a black teenager by a white off-duty cop in New York, Alcindor was driven to take action. He began writing for the Harlem Youth Action Project about current affairs in his free time. This was his first taste of activism. His experience in these early years and his encounter with the world of racial injustice would set him on a long arc that defined much of his life. Today, Alcindor may have been recruited directly out of high school, but at the time, players needed to go to college first before becoming eligible. He decided to attend the University of California on a full scholarship. There too, he faced restrictions. Excitement for him as an NBA prospect was growing, but so too was his sense of justice, which would lead him to make one of the most shocking decisions in his career. College rules stated that freshmen could not compete on the senior team. But in his first game, which was an exhibition against the varsity team, more than 12,000 people attended. People wanted to see what all the hype was about, and it was worth the show. He scored 31 points to lead the freshman team to a 5-point win. The following year, in 1966, he made his debut to much fanfare and media attention. UCLA completed the season with a perfect season, going undefeated and winning the national championship. Just like his high school career, Alcindor led his college team to 3 consecutive championships. In his first year playing for UCLA, though, his cornea was scratched, causing him to sit out for 2 games. This was an injury that would repeat itself in the NBA and lead to one of Alcindor's most quintessential pieces of equipment. His college time was also religiously significant. In his senior year, he converted to Islam. It was here that he began using the name Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. In that same year, he was called up to play for the U.S. national team, but he refused, and what he later admitted was an incredibly difficult decision. Malcolm X had been assassinated 3 years earlier, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. just a few months earlier. For Kareem, he couldn't bring himself to bring honor to the country that was denying African Americans rights. He was inspired by Muhammad Ali refusing to serve in the Vietnam War and sacrificing the heavyweight title for it. Fittingly, Kareem finished his studies the following year with a major in history. To nobody's surprise, Kareem was the #1 draft pick. He was selected by the Milwaukee Bucks, a franchise that had been open barely over a year. At the time, the NBA was coexisting with a competing league, the American Basketball Association, where Kareem was additionally chosen by the New York Nets. After the Milwaukee Bucks offered $1.4 million, the New York Nets more than doubled that number to $3.25 million. He wrote about his turmoil that year. While he was tempted to play in his hometown of New York, a 5-year contract with Milwaukee seemed a more comprehensive offer. In a meeting with the New York Nets executives, they tried to sway him not only by matching the $1.4 million, but by more than doubling it to $3.25 million, which would be equivalent to $27 million today. Astonishingly, Kareem actually asked for the teams to stop bidding for him, saying that it was degrading. With that, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was officially a Milwaukee Buck. His rookie season took the team to second place in the Eastern Division. In 1970, he led the team to 20 wins in a row, on the way to the NBA Finals, where they defeated the Baltimore Bullets comprehensively 4-0. His infamous skyhook shot, where he shot his arm straight into the air and seemed to almost drop it into the basket, was his signature move. 1971 would be the first of 6 NBA championships in Abdul-Jabbar's career, but he would have to wait 9 years for his second. Just as Kareem had made an international name for himself during a postseason tour of Africa, he finally publicly requested that the media use his Muslim name, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. During the 1971 season, Abdul-Jabbar was trying to align his professional and personal life. He had only grown more political, advocating for civil rights. And because of that, he did not feel welcome in the team's hometown of Milwaukee, in the Midwest of the country. He described himself as existing rather than living in Milwaukee as a soldier for hire. The Bucks got the message and began searching for a trade deal that would satisfy everyone. In the meantime, Abdul-Jabbar injured his eye with the same injury that he suffered in college. Frustrated, he punched the backboard and broke 2 of his fingers, putting him out for 16 games. It wouldn't be his last punch in the NBA. When he re-emerged on the court in late 1974, he was wearing the now iconic protective goggles, and he was ready to move to his new team, the Los Angeles Lakers. Kareem spent 14 years with the Lakers, where he built the team up. In his first season, the team failed to make the playoffs, despite Kareem winning the MVP award. The 1976 season saw another step in the right direction, with the Lakers making the finals but losing to the Portland Trail Blazers. In one notable game the following season, Abdul-Jabbar responded to being elbowed in the stomach by punching rookie Kent Benson in the face. Abdul-Jabbar broke his hand and was fined $5,000, while Benson ended up with a black eye. This was the beginning of 3 years in a row where the Lakers were eliminated in the playoffs. It wasn't until 1980 that Kareem won a championship with the Lakers, combining with Magic Johnson to form an unstoppable attacking force. Over the next 8 years, Kareem collected 4 more championships, ensuring his place as one of the greatest of all time. 1989 was his 20th and final season, where he was greeted at most stadiums with applause in celebration of a decorated career. He held the all-time scoring record until 2023, when LeBron James passed it more than 33 years after Kareem had retired. Debates rage on about who deserves the greatest of all-time title, but for many basketballers and analysts, Kareem is clearly the best. Former player Tex Maul described him as a meld of Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell, 2 legends that Kareem looked up to. He brought a new franchise their first championship and helped build the LA Lakers into a powerhouse. But Kareem's impact went far beyond basketball. Inspired by his early playing days and instilled with a sense of justice, Abdul-Jabbar went on to publish books, columns, and documentaries, commenting on injustices within the United States. In 2012, he served as a cultural ambassador for the country. He continues to be an activist, speaking up about racial inequalities, and has now branched out to work with immigrants, LGBTQ+, and other marginalized groups. He believes that sports people have a special place in society. He's written that they are role models because of the years of dedication, discipline, and failures they have worked through to achieve fame. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was never afraid to confront what he knew to be wrong, whether in the schoolyard, on the basketball court, or on the public stage.